He says that the content creators said the Moses Ingram comments weren't bad, but they turned around and pointed out Disney's racism in the Chinese market.
From the instigating problem. Essentially, yeah, that's what whataboutism is. Actually implying that the racist messages Moses Ingram got are okay because Disney engages in evil behavior as well. It is actually important to call out bad things and speak up for good things.
What Robert is...
Why? Why is it important to call out bad things and speak up for good things? Again, that's a controversial statement in your mind? Wow, dude, you are special. You are special, bro. And that brings us to someone that I wasn't planning on covering on the channel. So this guy, I have this rule typically that I don't like to cover people with less subs than me. I usually follow that. I sometimes stray, but I try to avoid that. But I'm gonna go ahead and look at Alastor Hacon. And for two reasons. Here, I'll go ahead and load this up so you can see why. Because by far his most popular video is this guy, Organized Chaos, Organized in Bad Faith. I know there's a red underline under it, and that just seems to be what happens when I download a video, because I've gotten to a point where it's happened to me a couple of times where I will be like, I'm going to cover this video, and then suddenly it's taken down. So I will go in and, before I announce, before I say anything about covering a video, I will go ahead and download it. So I have it no matter what. I didn't think he would take it down because it's his highest performing video, but just to be paranoid a bit. Oh, and I will also say this. If I I have an open door policy. If anybody wants to come talk to me in general, come talk to me. rsetlock3@gmail.com. That comes especially to anybody I cover on the channel. So Alastor Hacon, is it Hacon? Hacon? You want to come talk to me at some point? Send me an email. Drop me a line. We'll make that happen. But anyways, yeah. So this video, this is by far his most popular video, and I found out that essentially before Pillar of Garbage ever talked to us, he was sent this video and told this video is a reason why he should never talk to the initiative, and I guess me specifically. And I found out the same thing happened to Edgier Than Thou. To my understanding, Pillar asked for he was like, okay, I don't really have time to watch a 2.5 hour video, and I doubt we're going to work all the way through this video, by the way. I'm just going to lay that on the table. I don't have that type of energy in me, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll split this up into parts, or maybe we will get a vibe for it and call it a day. But anyways, Pillar was like, I don't have time to watch it. Can you give me Cliff Notes? And they gave him Cliff Notes, and he was like, it's not that big a deal. I don't care. It doesn't seem like anything. And then Edgier, I think, actually watched a little bit of it before they got bored and didn't really think there was much of an argument to it. But I posted that I'd be covering this on stream, and then I got a lot of Twitter mentions like a couple hours ago, actually, right after I got back from work. Oh, and I will, while I'm loading this up, I'll also go over the other reason. Honestly, I'm a little inspired by Birdman. I think Birdman does a really good job tackling a lot of the he will go after smaller channels, but it's only if the smaller channels essentially go after him. And I do think there's an argument to be made that, in general, I don't like to punch down and go after smaller channels, but an argument can be made to occasionally address videos, especially if they get popular, from a smaller channel that directly address you. I think that argument can be made. And I know that seems like pretty much what Birdman does, and he's kind of inspired me to be like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do this sometimes, but only if they directly address me, essentially. But let's go over notifications. So yeah, so this dude apparently posted. Apparently, Organized Chaos is going to be doing a stream today covering your video about him that came out over a year ago. Here's the link to the stream. So he's replying to Alastor Hacon apparently advertising a new Mahler video. Okay. So I think it's fair to say he's a Mahler fan. And then, hey, Bob, I thought I was a bottom feeder, not worth talking about. What's this? And so he went ahead and tagged me, of course. And let me go ahead, pull up my response. And then I was just like, you know what? Maybe perhaps your video will prove me wrong. That's all I said. Because, maybe he will have this video will be the thing to kick me out. And then I already got this dude who's total troll, by the way. Oh, trust me, he blew you out of orbit. And then that brings us to Alastor's response, which is just the meme of The Rock going, oof. And I'm like, yeah, you're not exactly filling me with hope that I'm wrong. Because it's one of those things where it's like, dude, if you can make an argument about how, like, addressing these grifters is actually bad and that you shouldn't do it, or maybe even make the argument that these guys aren't grifters and that maybe these guys are actually making good, solid fucking arguments and that I'm missing some key fucking element. If you could make that argument, please let me know. I would like to just go, oh, you know what? You got a good fucking point. These guys aren't just being bigoted outrage merchants. I would love that, but every time it just always comes back to, yeah, they're just being bigots for outrage clicks. It's pretty much their what they're doing, and they're invading nerd spaces, and I strongly object to that. And then I know there's another reply here I want to go over real fast. Oh, yes. Luke Norris, again, classy guy. Apparently, this video is the death blow to my entire grift. So, dude, the initiative might be over after this stream, guys. It might be done. I don't know what else we could do. Like, if this video is going to be the death blow. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and go over the video here. I want to go over the comments this video real fast because I did catch myself going over them last night. They are toxic as fuck. I'll just say that. But we got plenty of mentions of Tyrone and stuff like that in here, which is great argument. But there was actually a comment I thought was really fascinating. So obviously, Rags was one of the big ones to shout out this video and give it a whole boost. This is really quite the record of his behavior. It's impressive you managed it. Not many people could stand to listen to that guy for as long as you have. He's really quite the specimen. Tragically confident despite his stupidity, and unfortunate, a hopeless ideologue as well. I'm sure organized chaos will give us gold for years to come. It's like, thanks, Rags. You're right. It was a challenge. Then they're saying EFAP this man. And then, I got EFAP'd a while ago, by the way. And then this guy comes in, which is interesting. Rags, I get the whole policy on debates on EFAP, but genuinely, I think it would go well if you get him on. He wants to debate you guys, no offense, but makes you look weak when you guys don't take him up on his offer. Seriously, so many people would die to see this debate happen. Anyways, if you actually see this, I love your content in EFAP. So their own fans are saying, why don't you debate him? He says he's willing to. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So the vibes I'm getting from Alastor Hacon here is that he's a pretty big Rags and Mahler fan. So all video content and copyright belongs to their rightful owners. I do not claim any of the. Okay, so fair use disclaimer. Yes, fair use disclaimer. Okay. I know the drill on that one.
I know this isn't the type of video that sits in with the rest, especially if you're watching this in the future, but this is a topic I want to touch on because it shows how badly discourse on the internet has become. Before we get started, I need to put out this disclaimer. This video will mostly be addressing the...
So real quick, discourse on the internet has gotten quite bad. I actually agree with that. It's incredibly toxic, which is part of the problem. Why end up addressing it a lot. Why we have more people addressing it, like a Pillar of Garbage, Birdman, and of course, obviously, actual Fandom and TurfNation were the ones covering it years before even me. Yes.
The tactics, logic, and arguments that organized chaos uses, and why they are, at best, poor debate tactics and, at worst, bad faith statements.
Well, I mean, it's worth saying these fandom menace, whatever you want to call them, anti-fans, grifters, they are bad faith. They are like the definition of bad faith. However, if you're going to explain how I can improve some of my arguments, I actually would be interested to know.
I will also be breaking down what arguments organized chaos misrepresented and what was actually meant to be taken away from the point raised. I say mostly because my patience wears very, very thin the further we get through the script. I will definitely signpost the section in which my video transitions from objective analysis to pissed off rant with objective points. With
objective analysis. Okay, you know what? Maybe he will have some solid arguments against me. Let's see. Maybe he'll destroy me. Yeah, his patience wears thin, guys.
That, let's begin. Organized Chaos, or Robert Setlock III, according to his social media and video descriptions, is a content creator who focuses on movie reviews and discussion on media on the internet. His content on YouTube started with short reviews of movies. I sat down and watched his Bumblebee review, and something I noticed in this video was
wow. Old school. So no, it does not start with movie reviews. It actually starts with game content, and then I did some top fives. The movie reviews are things I started doing because I was writing articles for the Sandusky Register, and I would just adapt those into reviews. I was a writer for the newspaper for 2 years.
Was the lack of any substantive reasoning for his opinion on the film.
Okay, so fun fact, those reviews were 500 words or less. That was my limit.
This is what I essentially watched.
The fun, yeah, the whole goal was to essentially give you kind of my vibes of the movie and whether or not I recommend it or not. I would limit myself and not reveal anything past, or try to limit my content to specific story points. The only story points I'd try to reveal would be stuff in Act 1 or in the trailers.
A synopsis of Bumblebee, the track record of live-action Transformers films, what his favorite Transformers movie is, and loose reasoning on why. He disliked The Last Night and was dreading Bumblebee. He was pleasantly surprised by Bumblebee. The second act of Bumblebee drags, and the third act is a typical action finale. He recommends Bumblebee.
Yes, that's a movie review. Cool. I mean, honestly, I think that's kind of solid that I was able to cover that amount in, like, what, 3 minutes? My favorite Transformer movie that I've seen so far, you know, I haven't seen the animated one in so long, so I can't really count that. So we're just talking about, like, live action ones. I haven't seen the new one yet. So my favorite one would be Bumblebee.
This small, almost 3-minute video on Bumblebee actually epitomizes one of the biggest problems with Robert's content. We don't know why he says or does the things he does. Like, why did he dislike The Last Night? Why did he like Bumblebee? What?
I was giving you why did I dislike The Last Night? I don't think I have. Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. Hold on. Here we go. This was an early one where I actually put a photo of myself in the review. But yes, so yeah, Last Night, Transformers review right there. I wrote this for the newspaper as well.
Mr. Bay, you are a very skilled filmmaker. I remember enjoying The Rock quite a bit, and the fact that you can consistently get the resources to make big action movies is something to be admired. I know you've been in the business of making movies since I was a teenager, so maybe it's not my place to judge you. However, I see you making the same mistakes over and over again. They're all rather rookie mistakes. Here are 3 simple tips that could greatly improve your output. You seem to love your up-close shots of people and things, frequently employing Dutch angles and other various tricks. It makes the shot look cool, but also fails to give the audience a clear idea of the environment around the characters or where the characters are in relation to each other. This is especially crucial in action scenes. Please employ at least 1 wide shot for every change of scene, no matter how minor. This is something criticized as a film school thing. In movies like Spectre, where the beginning was 1 long shot through a Day of the Dead celebration, it looked cool, but was unnecessary. Then you also have the beginning of Serenity, where a long shot is employed to introduce the crew of the ship while also giving the audience the sense of the ship itself. I'm not asking nearly that much of you, but it's rare when a character says 2 sentences on the same shot in this film. Almost every sentence has a cut before the next, even when it's the same character talking. This is completely unnecessary. You cut action scenes like action scenes, so you're fine on editing there. However, you also cut character moments as action scenes. You cut exposition dumps as action scenes. When you literally cut everything as an action scene, the movie becomes exhausting to watch. Not only that, when you go to an action scene, it doesn't stand out because it's cut like every other scene in the movie. The audience becomes desensitized to it, so those cool moments you do have stand out so much less. There's more, but those are the big ones. Follow these simple steps with all your movies, and there will undoubtedly be an improvement. And maybe you can even get a Transformers film scored fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Hey, at the very least, not as rotten as the past few. I know you've said this is your last one, but let's face it, you've said that before.
All right, so there are my objections to Transformers Last Night. That was a 3-minute video. I framed it as like a letter to Michael Bay because I was getting sick of these fucking Transformers movies. I actually had a massive headache watching Last Night because it was rough. Now, fun fact, he's complaining because I didn't go into the details of the Last Night and my objections to it in my Bumblebee review, and that's because it's a fucking Bumblebee review. I was just setting up that, yeah, the Last Night was my least favorite one. And then here, if you want to see my Last Night video, it's right fucking there. So, ta-da. So, hopefully I can address that.
Makes the second act drag. So from here on out, whenever I show you an example of Robert declaring something or giving his opinion and he doesn't explain his position, I'm going to flash this on the screen. Continuing on, Robert's content began to shift in mid-2020 toward more political commentary. The video, "The US is broken and how we can fix it," seems to be the first video
I'm kind of surprised he didn't go over the versus content. The versus content was huge. There's no way he's poking around my channel and not seeing the versus content. That's kind of wild.
he chronologically uploaded that was political in nature. Unless he deleted some videos, I don't know. But this video is mostly an opinion.
Yeah, like most videos on YouTube are opinion based, bro. Fun fact, that's a lot of YouTube. This video you're making right now is opinion based, actually. So I think that's a weird critique. Yes, how dare I make opinion based video? Was that my first political video? Let me kind of look into this. Now you've got me wondering. It's been a while since I've actually looked at my channel. Hold on. I don't. Yeah, it might be the first time I think my gun control video might have been before then. Hold on, let me. I can show you guys this. I'm just literally going through my old videos here. Well, I'm not even that old yet. Oh, I can. Oof. We're gonna look, guys. We're gonna look. We're gonna look at the early content, the video game stuff, the goofy little skits I made, the top 5 reasons it sucks and top 5 reasons it's awesome videos. Ugh, so much cringe in my early content. Oh, this was actually an essay I did for school. That got me an A in the class, actually, that essay. Well, dude, he's probing into my past. He's got me interested. It's like, when did I do this? Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how far this is in the weeds. He's making a video about me and I'm trying to remember me. Let's see. Yeah, no, it was almost all like Avengers style stuff. Lots of Marvel, plenty of DC. Oh, this video is officially my first video reach 1 million views. That just happened a few days ago, fun fact. So, yay. 9 years ago. Oh yeah, I would do these videos where my daughter and I would go watch a movie and then we give our reaction. God, that was so long ago. She was so young. She was so young. God, that was awesome. Let's see. Yeah, God, I was busy 9 years ago. 8 years ago. Is it reset? Did it reset? It reset on me. Okay, this won't work. I guess I'll just have to do a search. 5 years ago. So that was. He said it was in 2020. When was this released? I want to say there was another school shooting and I made this video. $2019. So this would probably be my first foray into politics right here because I was just getting sick of the fucking school shootings. And frankly, like I will still occasionally share this video because it's still fucking relevant because nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is we've gotten more fucking shootings. And it's like there's just some basic, like, listen, I'm not saying outlaw guns. I'm saying there's some very basic regulations we could be fucking doing. And we're not. We're not even doing those. It's insane. Anyways, back to this dude. God, yeah.
Piece. But there is a moment where we see the offending tactic I just stated.
The Electoral College rewards smaller states, and the winner-take-all nature means if you're on the losing side.
The Electoral College rewards smaller states. You want me to explain that? Because there's a minimum electoral vote of 3. So smaller states will get 3 votes no matter what. So there could be like 5 fucking people in the state. Whereas stuff like California and New York, there's millions of people in those states, millions upon millions upon millions. And they get mathematic. I don't remember the exact ratio, but yes, small states get overrepresented in the Electoral College. You can Google that. Yeah, I didn't explain it in the video, but that is I thought it was a fairly well-known fact. Do you need me to explain? Do you need me to hold your hand for every moment, bro?
In your state, your vote is essentially thrown out. And that's not even talking about the real issues with our government.
Well, I just went over that. Okay.
With campaign finance reform. The fact that the Supreme Court ruled that money counts as free speech is disgusting. The police are broken.
Why? Okay, so money counting as free speech is disgusting, and he's like, why? You need me to explain that? You need me to explain why Citizens United was a disgusting decision? Dude, look up Citizens United, and if you think Citizens United was a good based call, then we're just drastically in disagreement. Just drastically. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Dean. Explaining the Electoral College is bad faith. That's my fault, guys.
And so is the government.
I'm not going to go into why the Electoral College was created or why money counts as free speech, but this is an example of the lack of explanation for why he believes what he says. Why do you believe the Electoral College rewards smaller states? Why is money counting as free speech?
I don't believe it rewards smaller states. It does reward smaller states, as I just explained. That's not a belief. I like how he's saying it's a belief. It's not a fucking belief, bro.
Disgusting. An explanation or an exploration of your point would only bolster your position and make your point stronger and more persuasive. But I will now...
Sure. Okay. I will keep that in mind, although I thought that was self-explanatory. I thought people were pretty familiar with the Electoral College at this point. But if your point is, hey, if you talk about the Electoral College, break it down. Okay. I can take a few moments to break it down.
Move forward in the timeline to where organized chaos showed up on my and many other people's radar with his Obi-Wan Kenobi review that Rags responded to.
Yes.
I know I'm jumping ahead a bit, but I would like to point out, Rags was not responding to whether or not Organized Chaos liked Obi-Wan. He was responding to his terrible reasoning for liking Obi-Wan and terrible arguments for other things that we will get into momentarily. If you want Rags' opinion on...
Right. Okay, I mean, we let's see if we get into it.
Organized Chaos's video, the link will be in the description. I will not...
Oh, no wonder Rags likes this. You're shouting him out. Nice.
Not be getting into canon issues with Obi-Wan, but here's a quick response to some of the worst points in Robert's video, and admittedly, they're mostly in the latter portion of the video. Robert states that most things people have criticized this show on are not really an issue, but then proceeds to state that Reva's backstory and arc were 100% predictable.
It's not, like, in my opinion, none of this is stuff that actually destroys the series. I feel like the bigger complaints people levy at this series is stuff that isn't an issue. Like the stuff with Reva. I'll go ahead and say this. Moses Ingram, for the first half of the series, wasn't really selling it to me. Her performance, I felt, was a bit lackluster. That being said, by the second half of the series, she actually pretty much sold the character to me. I was on board. The biggest complaint I have about her character is that pretty much her origin story and what's going to happen to her is 100% predictable.
Robert states that most of the actors did a great job, but also gives no examples for the vast majority of them, excluding Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it was a live recording. Don't give what are you looking for? Like, I have a feeling even if I were to break it down, you would say that's not a good enough reason. Like, this is literally, like, this whole video was just, vibes based. I just watched Obi-Wan, here's my vibes on it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, before I shave, or when I used to shave regularly, yep.
Again, I'm not arguing whether or not he's right.
I think Hayden Christensen, with the little bit of screen time he has, does a fantastic job. And he gets his best moment in the duel at the end between him and Obi-Wan.
Watch the show. Like, if you want the specific example, it's like that moment where his helmet's all cracked up, and yeah, like, we can go into the specific example, but like, it's a vibe based thing. My goal is to, like, I don't recall exactly what my purpose was with this video per se. It's been a few years, but typically when I'm giving a review, I've kind of let this go. I've kind of gone full spoiler anymore. But, like, there used to be a time where my goal was more to just give people an impression of whether or not they would like it or not. That was kind of the goal.
Where his helmet gets, like, shattered, and you get to see half his face, which...
Yeah, I'm going over. Nothing has to do with acting. He has lines during this moment, bro. He has lines.
Is a very creepy image. And during that, I love this. I mean, I complained about some of the direction earlier. This is this whole fight had...
He had line delivery during that. That is absolutely acting. Not to mention, we see, like, we can go into this real fast. So, just him looking at Obi-Wan, that's acting as well, bro. Like, what if he was laughing during that scene? Come on. That's acting as well. There's more to acting than just, like, what, line delivery? Is that what you're saying? Which, again, there's line delivery during this as well.
Half his face, which is a very creepy image. And during that, I love this. I mean, I complained about some of the direction earlier. This is this whole fight had beautiful direction, and this scene where Vader's helmet is cracked open and you see Hayden Christensen's scarred up face under it, it's kind of wonderful because you get this the blue and red light over his face. Performances, I thought performances were overall very good. Hayden Christensen's great. Moses Ingram, like I said, I thought the first half of this series wasn't really working for me. Second half sold me the character.
Like, how far do you need me to break it down, bro? Like, it's pretty much, it's vibes, bro. I'm giving my opinion. Like, if you want, like, I can do a full, like, breakdown if you want, but, like, I'm giving my opinion on something.
I thought they didn't give Joel Egerton that much to do, but what he did have to do, he did a great job. The child actress who played Leia did a great job.
So he's just gonna put Y over everything I do say. Cool, bro. Cool.
You might notice there's a name I haven't brought up. It's Ewan McGregor, because Ewan McGregor didn't do a great job. He did a phenomenal job.
Why? No.
He sold this series. Like, holy shit, he was great in this series. I just don't even know how much to describe it. Like, there's that bit in episode, I want to say 3, where he kind of fucks up and he calls Leia by her name. And the guards are, like, obviously suspicious at that point. And then he goes, oh, it's her mother's name. And I can't do the line the way he does it. The way he sells oh, it's, you remind me so much of your mother, I get confused. The way he said it, he sells it. And it makes sense why the guards would be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Lucifer, that seems like it. Yeah, you're not allowed to give any opinions unless you, like, exactly chart out every single point that gets you to that opinion. Like, you know, what were you eating that day? What did you what were you thinking about when that moment happened? You know, what was your life experience that informed that moment and why you enjoyed it? You know, there's all types of, like, listen, I was joking around about the first 2 points I brought up, but, like, you know, your life experience and how it impacts that moment is a huge thing. It seems bizarre to be picky about that. Listen, you can disagree with my opinions all you want, but, like, a lot of this is just, like, vibes based. Like, how specific do you need to go?
Robert states that the Star Wars Twitter account did not call fans racist. Here are the tweets.
Ooh, we're getting into interesting stuff. Yes. We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we have only one thing to say: we resist. There are more than 20 million sentient species in the Star Wars galaxy. Don't choose to be a racist. So, those are not racist. I will absolutely maintain that.
Sounds like they're implying that the fans are already racist by telling them not to be racist.
No. There are Star Wars fans who are racist, and they're saying, stop being fucking racist. That's it.
Robert states that everyone has a narrative. Even he does.
That was just their narrative.
Yes. Yes.
They're talking about Star Wars and Disney pushing a narrative, but they are the ones clearly pushing a narrative. I'm not saying Star Wars and Disney don't have their own narrative. Everybody technically has a narrative. I have a narrative. But these guys clearly are pushing their narrative hard.
Oh yes, I know you have a narrative. We will get to it.
Ooh.
Robert says that the people calling out the Star Wars
Let's break down exactly what my narrative is. This is interesting. Okay.
Twitter account are the actual ones calling Star Wars fans racist. That's just silly. I can't even really say anything.
Oh yeah, no, I remember my argument. I thought it was fairly sound at that point. So, the argument is essentially the tweets were saying don't be a racist, and then the people like Nerdrotic and stuff are saying they're calling all Star Wars fans racist, and it's like, well, wait, if you're saying those tweets are targeting all Star Wars fans, then you are the one saying all Star Wars fans are racist at that point, not Star Wars Twitter.
Thing besides that.
And by them coming out and saying that the Disney Star Wars fans are all getting called racist, they are the ones that are calling all Star Wars fans racist. That's the thing to understand. Huh?
I know I've explained that. So wait, does he play the rest of the video?
Ben Shapiro, neurotic.
Yeah, no. So this was part of like a 9-part or whatever, where I go over, yeah, essentially what I just explained. If you're saying those tweets are targeting all Star Wars fans, then you are essentially implying that all Star Wars fans are racist, which they're not. They're not. There are racist Star Wars fans, but not all Star Wars fans are racist.
Critical drinker. Midnight's Edge.
Yeah, I should have. You're right. I should have edited that out. True. True. I'll give you that.
I'm sure I covered more during that time. By pushing that narrative, they are the ones calling Star Wars fans racist.
Robert accuses Nerdrotic, The Quartering, Critical Drinker, and Ben Shapiro of defending racism towards Moses Ingram. Yet he
yeah, they do.
Never shows any proof that they did.
Well, not in that specific video. That was... Okay, hold on. Let's look up that Star Wars video real fast. Because I actually made a playlist. Here we go. The cringe videos of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, let me show you. So it's one of my playlists here. The cringe videos of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'll blow up the playlist right here. Go ahead and mute this. So we have, and if you look at the thumbnails, you can't really see it here. Anyways, you can't really tell, but essentially it was a 10-part video series that essentially ended with me going over my thoughts on Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, if you wanted to see quartering, that was the part before it. Ben Shapiro, it's all part of this video series I did covering Obi-Wan Kenobi. The playlist is on my channel. Robot Head, Clownfish, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, Midnight's Edge, Mecha Random 42, all in there, all in there. So if you want to do a deep dive into my channel, it's right there. It's right the fuck there.
Star Wars fans racist.
Robert accuses Nerdrotic, The Quartering, Critical Drinker, and Ben Shapiro of defending racism towards Moses Ingram. Yet he never shows any proof that they did. But I have evidence that at least The Quartering didn't.
And that's a problem.
Oh! I want to see your evidence. Because The Quartering did the worst one. You know, let me go ahead. I wonder if Quartering even has that video up. Hold on. I do like the idea. Oh, I'm going to defend The Quartering. Okay, let's go ahead and go over this short real fast. I brought up shorts and did a search, and it just brought up all my videos. So hold on. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. This is classy.
You have Ewan McGregor out here clowning himself, acting like this woman, like people, like where, like.
Oh, dude, there's you. I like the Ewan McGregor video. I thought he was based.
Did people send her pictures of like burning crosses and say, get out of, you know, like where is?
Oh, is it not racist enough? Is that the issue? Jesus.
Is this? And to be honest with you, I don't even think you could really call any of these. I mean, you have to really stretch to call any of these racist.
You'd have to stretch to call it racist. Literally on the screen is one with the N-word on it. Oh, dude.
So yeah, you're right. Quartering didn't defend it. Yeah, you're right. Good call.
And that's the thing. Moses Ingram getting racist messages is a problem, and she shouldn't get them. But you know what's a bigger problem? Assholes like The Quartering, Ben Shapiro, Neurotic, and Critical Drinker maybe saying it's bad, but defending it. And I want to point out, Ben Shapiro and The Quartering definitely didn't say it's bad.
Meanwhile, yes, nobody should endure any, you know, kind of just unwanted hate, all right?
If you're going to...
Yes, yes, they love to do that. They love to be like, "Oh yeah, nobody should be doing it," and then they go ahead and say, "Oh well, this isn't even that bad," or sometimes they'll even cheer it on. They talk out both sides of their mouths. That's how the grift works, my friend. Pay attention, you'll see it.
To accuse someone of something so damning, could you at least provide some sort of evidence to back up your point?
Well, excellent, excellent, dude. Alistair, I hope you watch this because I just brought it up. You're good.
He says the quartering says the messages weren't racist. Honestly, in this day and age, what counts as racist is so skewed, it's hard to put a definition on it. But what the quartering sees as racist and what Robert sees as racist are clearly on opposite sides of the spectrum. Still,
Yes, I think people sending Moses Ingram random messages with calling her the N word. Yes, I think that's fair to call that racist. Maybe the quartering doesn't. Maybe he's like, no, that's not right. But I think that's fair to call racist.
no evidence though. But I'll do you one better and actually produce the clip of the quartering saying the messages weren't racist.
But my point is that everybody gets it, all right? And there isn't anything here to indicate that, you know, these are race related, in my opinion.
Robert claims that
Oh, he clipped it. Okay, yeah, no, there's a bit later when he says he doesn't see anything racist, as I just showed. Jesus, my God, bro, do a little bit more research. Work a little bit harder. You're getting there. You're getting there.
that no one talked about Disney's troubling actions in the Chinese market when it first happened, but is now being discussed because it fits a narrative.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they like to wheel it out. It's the so the three big ones. What Finn's face being is shrunk in the Chinese poster, which I don't exactly know the full context for that because I don't know how it was advertised in China. But if you remember, in the United States, Finn was heavily prominent in the United States advertisements, and it was kind of implied he was the main character. It's one of the few times where these guys could probably trot out a bait and switch argument and be like, "Yeah, you got a point." But I don't know how it was advertised in China. It was advertised the same way, then yeah, it's a little problematic. If it wasn't, then it kind of makes sense. He's not as prominent a character. It makes sense to have Ray be a lot bigger. Now the mask being over Black Panther is a little cringe, and thanking the concentration camp in Mulan is a little cringe. Sure. That being said, all this stuff is from like fucking 5 years ago. And I think it's interesting. You just like they keep on ad nauseum repeating these same three talking points over and over again.
They still followed the line about, oh, Disney does some racism in China, which is something we didn't even fucking talk about when it first came out, but we're going to talk about now because it fits our fucking narrative.
That is verifiably false. Robert accuses the likes of
Wait, what? The quartering? Wait, the quartering. Hold on. Because I looked up the videos. They hadn't done that.
no one talked about Disney's troubling actions in the Chinese market when it first happened, but is now being discussed because it fits a narrative.
Wait.
They still followed the line about, oh, Disney does some racism in China, which is something we didn't even fucking talk about when it first came out, but we're going to talk about now because it fits our fucking narrative.
That is verifiably false.
So, his one example is the quartering in 2020. And it sounds like John Boyega is calling out the quartering for being a dick here. I don't know full context for his tweet. I'm a little interested. I've derailed this quite a bit, but like I'm interested on the full context here because it seems like John Boyega is getting annoyed at the quartering thing. He's like, dude, I defended you. I called out Disney's racism in 2020. Fun fact, when did The Force Awakens come out, bro? I don't know, maybe do some fucking research?
Robert accuses the likes of those stated before to be happy to have racists in their communities. That's another really damning claim that shouldn't be thrown around.
Oh, dude, I don't even think that's not even I won't even call that a claim. Like, listen, can I Actually, yeah, if I look at the comment section, yeah, there's plenty of racist in these guys' community. Neurotic, critical drinker, quartering. Hell, look at my comment section of the people defending them. Yes, these guys definitely court racist in their fan base. Absolutely. Just look at their comment section. You want more evidence? Just look.
So lightly, especially without evidence.
And we're offended at that because those racists are either us or our fan community. And I'm sorry, if you want to court racist into your community, go fuck yourself.
Robert claims that Disney is an evil corporation, yet buys a bunch of merchandise from them and displays it proudly in this video.
Yeah. Well, fun fact. Did you know there's no ethical consumption under capitalism? Like, I can be a fan of things, but, not be a fan of the actions of the corporation that owns those properties. It's a thing. I do find it interesting how this guy's spending a decent amount of time defending the quartering. I knew there had to be quartering defenders out there somewhere.
And good on them. I'm not thrilled with Disney. Disney's an evil corporation. We've been over it many times.
Holy Jesus. Oh.
What this shows is a disturbing lack of congruence in his value.
No, I just went over that. I'm a Star Wars fan, but also not a fan of how Disney runs their corporation. Yes, those two things can't exist. Fun fact.
Values and morals. This seems so small, but I promise you it will come into play later.
Yeah, it's because it is really fucking small, bro.
What is pretty upsetting here is that in this video, he proves he can provide an explanation for why he likes or dislikes something, making everything I'm about to show you that much more disheartening. But more importantly, Robert has an alarming habit of throwing wild and damning accusations at people without at least producing evidence. If he were to at least try to—
You mean the stuff I just provided earlier in this stream? Okay.
Prove his case by providing examples of what he's accusing people of, we could at least get off the ground. Even some of the least reputable creators on this platform know to provide a clip of something. Granted, they may provide an out-of-context clip, but still, they understand the concept of providing evidence. Looking into his channel a little deeper, Robert does provide the evidence he should have provided in this video.
Okay, so I shouldn't put it in this video. Cool. I will say, and maybe it was a mistake on my part, yeah, this was part of a 9-10 part series, so I kind of assumed people were kind of following along, so I didn't feel the need to repeat myself too much. Maybe I should have included it. I will give you that.
In a completely separate video titled "The Quartering and Mecha Random 42 are just terrible." This is improper video etiquette because not everyone is going to see every video you post. You ought to know this because this video got 1/4 of the views the next video we're going to cover got. You should adopt the—
Yeah, that's because Rags covered that video.
The same philosophy the entertainment industry has. Every video is someone's first, so make videos that behave as if your viewers haven't seen any of your other videos.
Okay. Yeah, so I did a video that doesn't fall under that. Oops. Guys, that makes me bad faith.
Moving on to the next video I would like to cover, we receive Robert's response to Rags' video about a month later. The video starts off on the wrong foot only 11 seconds in. Robert states that the Black Widow popcorn bucket triggered some people for some reason and can't handle it, quote unquote. Put a pin in that triggered verbiage. It will not be the last time Robert uses the word triggered incorrectly, and it will be a very, very big deal later.
Only I will
How's it incorrect?
use this popcorn bucket to represent me whenever I don't have a video or I feel it's appropriate from now on, because it clearly seems to trigger people who react to my videos.
But looking at Rags' video on his Obi-Wan review, you'll see that Rags was far from triggered by the popcorn bucket. He actually finds it funny that Robert has this bucket, as it's something Rags believes to be the perfect symbolism for the kind of person Robert is.
Yeah, we knew she was there. You don't have to do the shot.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They didn't have to show that. But you have to remember that the people who like Star Wars, like you, are idiots. They're very, very stupid. And so you have to explain everything.
You're right. Rags wasn't attacking me at all. He wasn't attacking me. He was attacking my arguments. Good point. Yeah.
To them and constantly remind them of everything because they don't remember things, because they're unable to look at things objectively, because they don't remember basic things like cause and effect, because they buy Black Widow exclusive promotional popcorn buckets.
To reveal it.
The people.
I mean, it's irrelevant and dumb, but yeah, the whole reason I have that is because they were getting rid of them, and they're like, hey, you want a $5 popcorn bucket? They're usually way pricier, and I went, $5, sure. And that's how come that came into existence. Ta-da.
People who like this show are the people who buy the Black Widow exclusive promotional popcorn buckets. That sums it up right there.
Next, Robert states that in order to comment on racism, one must explicitly state that racism is bad.
He says it is unnecessary to say racism is bad. This is something I agree with, unless you bring up racist attacks. You are a fool and blind if you don't see a disturbing rise of racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, etc. in the United States. If you're going to comment on racism, you must say racism is unacceptable in any situation. Now,
why? Guys, I have to explain why you have to say racism is bad. I can't even with this. What the this is like insanity. Guys, racism is bad. And it's important for me to explain why racism is bad, because otherwise people don't know why racism is bad. Holy shit, bro. Holy shit. Are you serious? This is the video that destroys me, guys. I'm so destroyed right now. Holy crap.
Now, one of the tactics...
Oh my god. I honestly want to do an entire video on the infantilization of society, but we'll keep this brief. This kind of commentary is useless, as we as a national society and culture agree that racism is bad. Only a child under the age of 10 needs to be told this.
Yes, but as I explained in the clip you so wonderfully just put in there, there has been a rise of racism, homophobia, transphobia, sexism. It's on the rise. Pay attention. So it's important to make sure to say, hey, this shit is unacceptable. Fucking stop it. It's that simple.
What Robert is doing here is creating his own standard for what counts as racism and bigotry. If someone doesn't
explain.
meet this arbitrary and manufactured standard, then Robert sees this as free reign to hurl accusations of racism and bigotry at his perceived target, even if it doesn't make sense.
Do you want? Can I say why now? Can I say why? Why? Can I put a letter Y over it? Why? Why is this arbitrary? Can you explain this position? Because you're doing what you just accused me of. You're essentially saying I do this arbitrarily and just call people racist and bigots, arbitrarily, based on some random whatever. No, I actually try not to use those words. But the fact is they come up often because these dipshits are frequently bigoted. They frequently are. Maybe you don't see it, and if you don't see it, maybe you need to do some self-reflection, my man. Maybe if I cut this into a video, I'll get some clips put together for you. I'm not going to dig them out right now on live stream, but I've already gone through a few clips. So
you had Bruce Wayne, Batman, and you had Alfred. Those are the only two good white people. The rest of the three other major players that I would consider like overall like moral good people were, you had Jim Gordon, who's black in this. You had Catwoman, who's not white in this. And then you had the mayor, who's a black woman. Again, very much on the nose for current day Hollywood. Did not like that. Took a little bit off the score for me, to be honest.
Just a quick thing before we get started. I know that on our donation page, we still have the Geeks and Gamers logo. I just want to say that I really, we talked about this, and we're really not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers as far as I'm concerned, and I really just want to make that clear. And I also want to just say, in light of recent events, I think we really, if Justice League teaches us anything, it's about coming together, and there's no room for hate. And I just think that it's important. It's an important message. And of course, as the father of Asian children, it really hits close to home for me. And I just really want to put that out there, that we all, there's no room for hate, and that's just what it's about.
The problems began early on with the casting of Rachel Zegler as Snow White. Now,
Why? Yeah, why is that a problem?
Is this a problem, you might ask? Well, the original German folktale describes the character as...
Oh, for fuck's sake, I don't care. I don't care about the original German folktale. You guys always dig up these random fucking archaeological facts. You guys are like fucking digging through fossils trying to find some way to justify Snow White being fucking perfect white or some shit. No. Fuck off. I don't care.
As follows. Schneewittchen hat Lippen rot von einer Rose, Haar schwarz wie Ebenholz und Haut weiß wie Schnee. Or, in less world-dominating terms, Snow White had lips red as a rose, hair black as ebony, and skin white as snow. Skin white as snow.
Just digging up random shit just to make fun of... Number one, she's fairly white. Like, I don't know what her genetic ancestry is, but she looks pretty white in that fucking picture. And number two, I don't fucking care. I don't.
I guess just wailing on woke stuff all the time is pretty lazy, too.
I'm not a racist. And it turns out the villain of The Watchmen is going to be, and this is going to be a shocker to y'all, I know, I hope you're all sitting down, white supremacy.
Why is that a problem?
I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist.
Well, you look like one.
Well, here's one thing you can be sure of, mister. Leave any bigotry in your quarters. There's no room for it on the bridge.
For example, I can simply state anyone who doesn't like the Rippaverse is a racist, and now that...
Eric July fans do that all the fucking time, bro. Fun fact.
That gives me a misplaced sense of righteousness in accusing anyone who disagrees with me of bigotry.
Ooh, Alastor, what's your favorite part of ISOM? Just wondering.
Robert then says that many of the previously stated content creators engage in whataboutism, then proceeds to incorrectly define whataboutism.
Any situation. Now, one of the tactics YouTubers like Ben Shapiro, Nerderotic, Critical Drinker, and The Quartering do to deflect from this racism is engage in whataboutism. They might even say the racist messages Moses Ingram received are bad, but then they all turn around and point out that Disney did racist stuff to sell their movies in China. This is bad.
Whataboutism is when the accused avoids a question by bringing up an example of this behavior elsewhere. These content creators...
That was exactly what they did. This is fascinating, diving into this guy's fucking mind. This is like, number one, like, this is like really trying to, like, guess intellectualize a lot of these really bad arguments. Alastor, I would really love to talk to you sometime and pick your brain, because this is fascinatingly bad. Very fascinatingly bad.
Creators are not doing that, but Robert most certainly will later. He says that the content creators said the Moses Ingram comments weren't bad, but they turned around and pointed out Disney's racism in the Chinese market.
From the instigating problem. Essentially,
yeah, that's what whataboutism is.
Implying that the racist messages Moses Ingram got are okay because Disney engages in evil behavior as well. It is actually important to call out bad things and speak up for good things.
What Robert is...
Why? Why is it important to call out bad things and speak up for good things? again, that's a controversial statement in your mind? Wow, dude, you are a special. You are special, bro.
Not understanding here is that these content creators are pointing out that Disney is the last party that should be trying to tell anyone not to be racist. As the saying goes, don't go throwing stones when you live in a glass house. Robert then makes a massive reach by saying that the content creators he's referring to believe that the messages Moses Ingram got are okay because Disney participated in racist behavior in the past. That is
Yeah, that's the whole point of that argument, to be like, hey, this doesn't matter because Disney does racism in the past. That's what that argument is. That's why they keep on repeating it and using it.
a wild assumption that is ironically debunked when he...
Then why do they keep on using it? Why do they keep on misdirecting that whenever it's brought up? Bro, pay attention.
He later shows evidence of them saying the messages were bad.
But when you have an audience of hundreds of thousands of people and downplay racist messages that person gets because a company they work for also does racism, it's a way to excuse the initial racism when in reality both are bad and should be called out.
A few minutes later. No one is in favor of Moses Ingram being hit with racist DMs. So, by the way, when I talk about Chinese racism, what I mean is that Disney, in making The Force Awakens, actually removed, they removed Finn from the Chinese posters because there's so much...
Yes. It's I mean, I think he's trying to say this is my same video, but this is Ben Shapiro's same video as well, which was one of my points. He's like, hey, these messages happen, but look at this unrelated thing. Look at this. Don't look at that. Look at this. That's his whole argument right now.
Anti-black racism in China.
Well, all of this stuff came to a bit of a head recently when Moses Ingram, one of the main actors in Kenobi, shared a couple of samples of the abuse she'd been getting on Instagram. Nasty stuff that she absolutely didn't deserve. But what's even more interesting is the media firestorm that erupted in the wake of it.
Moses Ingram shared...
No, he did his whataboutism a little bit differently, though I'm pretty sure there was a point where Critical Drinker does go through those. I'm trying to remember. Maybe he doesn't. Nerdrotic uses them a lot.
And then made a video about some very harsh DMs she received on Instagram. She said,
Yeah, that's what it seems like, Lucifer.
That she received hundreds, but she only showed 3, and we're not going to show them here because they were indeed harsh, and I don't recommend anybody doing this. But I'm also not stupid. So let's play a round of who's the racist? Is it you, the vast...
Let's play a round of who's the racist. Is it the guys who sent the messages or Disney? That's what he's setting up right there. And he's also trying to clump in all the people that sent those messages with the regular fans, which is pretty gross in my opinion.
Majority of the Disney Star Wars fandom who's just giving some legitimate criticism? Or is it the company that shrunk...
Legitimate criticism. So essentially he's conflating the people who actually have just regular critiques, the people who sent those racist messages, and saying, well, who's worse, those or this stuff? And it's like, yeah, that's literally whataboutism.
Finn on the poster for China put a mask on Black Panther for China and thanked a concentration camp in China.
In the middle of the night, Disney Star Wars makes this bizarre late night tweet attacking fans and defending Obi-Wan actress.
You can almost set your clock to it whenever they talk about it. It's attacking fans. Yeah, it's actually, if you want to address anything, it's probably attacking their fans, not Star Wars fans in general, but these guys' fans.
There's Moses Ingram. In fact, the only people with any strong evidence of trying to erase black people from Star Wars is Disney corporate. And here's the exact evidence I'm talking about. Disney corporate prominently features John Boyega's Finn character in the Western poster, and then literally removes him, lightens the skin, and crams him in down here.
Next, Robert throws the same accusation from his Obi-Wan review of courting racist for views.
The only reason these people with these huge audiences do this are to court the worst sides of the fan bases. The reason why these YouTubers do this is for money, nothing more and nothing less.
That's pretty base to me. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Robert declares that these content creators are grifters. I want to establish the definition of grifter before moving forward. A grifter is defined as a person who engages in petty or small-scale swindling, i.e.
Yeah, kind of like selling a fake culture war on people and then saying, "Hey, give me money and then I'll help fight the culture war for you." Sounds like a grift, doesn't it?
i.e., someone who scams people out of money. The internet connotation of grifters is a bit more nuanced than that, but the general idea is there.
Upon watching a selection of their content, Ben Shapiro, Critical Drinker, and Nerdrotic strike me as grifters, and they are simply looking at the Google algorithm.
Well, I mean, I would absolutely say they're grifters at this point, but even in that statement, I said strikes me as grifters. Like, how deep an explanation do you want when I say strikes me? And even now, I would say, yeah, they absolutely are. Have you seen their old content? Have you seen Gary talk about how his channel is all about inclusion and respect? Have you seen how they're just always outraged? Like, you see these patterns with these guys. Yeah, they're fucking grifters.
To dictate what to say to get the most engagement.
As we will see later, Robert has a hard time differentiating between someone who makes money off of YouTube and someone who is scamming people on YouTube.
I mean, he keeps on saying, we'll see later. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to go into this, but come on, man. I don't call people who are popular content creators grifters. I call people who sell fake culture war crap grifters.
Just because these content creators make money does not automatically make them grifters.
Dude, you're so busy about finding receipts. Find me a fucking receipt where I say that. Find me a fucking receipt where I say if you make money, that makes you a fucking grifter. Good fucking luck on that one, buddy.
Grifters. This will become most evident in his debate with Eric July. He goes on to say that Critical Drinker is always critical of big franchises, especially those with minority leads.
That's in general true, yeah.
The assumption being that Drinker is racist.
Critical Drinker is perhaps one of the most interesting cases because he can show very solid review chops. But when it comes to big franchises, especially projects that prominently feature minorities, he simply courts the worst sides of the fan bases.
Which is easily disprovable.
Oh, is it just okay? Disprove that. Disprove it.
Because he has a.
He's gonna say Arcane, isn't he? He's gonna fucking say Arcane.
Positive review of Prey, a movie that.
Oh, fucking Prey? Oh, dude, Arcane would have been a stronger argument. Fucking Prey? You serious right now? Prey? That backhanded shit he did? I don't even know if I have Dane's infographics up on this, but like how he changed it and this backhanded compliment. No masterpiece, but surprisingly good. Dude, this isn't like a win. You guys are fans. You've seen Dane's infographic on Prey. If I add this, I'll have to track it down. But like, this is not the W you think it is, dude. Do a bit more research. Jacob, watch Prey. Prey is awesome.
That stars a Native American female lead in the Predator franchise.
Yes, he was actually dunking on it in the trailer. He was dunking on it, calling it woke and lame, and saying how a tiny woman couldn't fight a predator because she's way too small, ignoring the fact that no predator's ever been beaten with raw muscle mass, except maybe in The Predator, where a predator beats up another predator. That's it. No human's ever beaten up a predator with raw muscle, ever. But that was one of his arguments in the trailer review. But then in the regular movie, the movie came out and it was really popular, and he realized, oh, I have to rewind this a bit and be like, I can't like be like, oh, this is really good, but I have to give it some backhanded compliment essentially.
Next, he says the quartering looks at YouTube algorithms all day, which makes sense because it's his full-time job.
Quartering probably looks at Google engagement as well, but I don't think he's a grifter. I think he's simply an idiot.
He's probably a grifter. I'm probably wrong on that one.
This intro honestly goes on for way too long with the scattershot shotgun approach he's taking of just firing rounds at everyone and everything. So let me speed this up and quickly say a few more things. He says that Rags' fans follow him almost religiously.
It is certainly a...
Yeah, a lot of these grifters have fans like this. Critical Drinker, Rags, Mauler. A lot of the Rags fans are probably from Mauler, actually. Mahler's almost built up a goddamn religion over EFAP. It's kind of disturbing when you see the way they talk. But yeah, honestly, if you want proof of this, look in my fucking comments section. Holy shit. Most of my like, if you go into a video like commenting on EFAP, you're gonna get some wild fucking comments. You will. Eric July's the same dude. Look at the comment section for in fact, there's actually a clear piece of evidence of this. So Eric July, in his rant after the debate, talks about how I abandoned my kids and now they're being raised by Tyrone, a name he just made up out of nowhere. Outrageously untrue. Anybody who follows the channel knows my kids actually stream with me, not all the time, but like not often. They're here about a third of the time. But yeah, it's just bullshit Eric's making up. But if you were to look for the word Tyrone in my comments, they're all over the place. They even still pop up now, over a year and a half after that goddamn debate. People still talk about fucking Tyrone. And that's all just because of the bullshit Eric July made up. So yes, these guys very much have a strong influence on their fans. Verifiably.
All I'm fucking saying is that this guy is sitting here trying, as a guy that divorced the fucking, he divorced the like, that's the worst thing you could possibly do, is leave your children to grow without. I know shit doesn't work out, but you are not in a position to talk about people not giving a fuck about women, right? When your bitch ass, you not even with the children, trying to go to bat for women and fucking autistic people. Get the fuck out of my face. Your wife's boyfriend left your bitch ass and took the kids, said he shared custody. We know what the fuck that mean. You ain't sharing no damn custody. We already know what that mean. Tyrone raising them damn kids.
Character he is playing. But because of this, his fans follow him almost religiously and attack me like zealots.
A statement that is verifiably false because out of the three
verifiably false. Oh shit.
Main EFAP hosts, Rags gets the most criticism. Robert
That he debunked me. I mean, what the it's like you're not even on the same topic, bro. I'm talking about how people are attacking me and treat like zealously, almost like a cult, like in worship of Rags, and you're like, oh, but Rags gets the most criticism among EFAP. Well, number one, yeah, no shit, Rags would get the most criticism on EFAP. He's the most blatantly racist one of the bunch. But it still doesn't change. Like those two things aren't directly related. His fans still protect him zealously like a cult. It's right there. Just saying.
It says that Disney filming in a concentration camp is wrong and evil, yet buys a bunch of their merch, including the Black Widow promotional popcorn bucket. Yeah.
Disney.
I'm interested. Does this guy own any Marvel or Star Wars merch at all? At all? I mean, this is just such a weird thing. Like, yeah, like, listen, company does one evil thing that the concentration camp thing was kind of, it was poorly handled by Disney, but it was, it's weird. When you dive into it, it's not as evil. It's the fact that concentration camp exists is evil as fuck. But yeah, anyways, all corporations do evil shit, dude. They all do. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. It doesn't fucking exist. So yes, I've had to make peace with the fact that evil corporations own franchises that I'm a fan of and occasionally get merch from these corporations. I will pick and choose my battles. Like I'm maintaining my personal boycott against J.K. Rowling because that's a person who has decided to make her whole identity transphobia. And it's like, if your whole identity is going to be transphobia, I will refuse to support you. That's the thing. Disney doesn't make their identity supporting concentration camps or Uyghur concentration camps in China. That is not their identity at all. They have and I'm not saying they're good guys, but I'm saying there's a difference between the two.
covering up people of color in China or thinking concentration camps is wrong and evil.
Interesting.
He reiterates that people need to always call out any form of perceived racism, and that downplaying this perceived racism is worse than actual racism. Sure.
Do I say it's worse? I might say it's worse if you're implying it to an audience of hundreds of thousands on YouTube. Like if you have a massive public platform, then an argument could be made. Like if you have a massive public platform and you're downplaying racism, I think you could make a solid argument that that is worse than just individual acts of random racism.
Sure.
Evil. Downplaying, sending racist messages to hundreds and thousands of audience members is wrong and worse than the original racist messages, because those were likely just done by random people with no social media presence. But you just told hundreds of thousands of people.
Okay, yeah, that was my exact fucking point, bro.
It's not a big deal and implied it's okay because Disney does bad stuff too. It is all unacceptable and should be called out.
He then shows a clip of Rags saying that the messages probably weren't even racist because he believes that left-leaning people are usually crying wolf on racism and bigotry. He also states that it dilutes the impact and importance of those words, and then Rags finishes his statement by saying that he doesn't excuse the messages that are racist.
Some of them probably weren't. I don't know. Which messages? Some of them probably weren't actually racist. I mean, let's be frank. You fucking lefties are always crying wolf on the racism and the bigotry and the transphobia stuff. You're always fucking crying wolf on it. I bet a lot of those supposed racist messages aren't actually racist. And I'm not excusing the ones that are, of course. I'm just saying that I think a lot of the ones that are called racist are not actually racist. Which is a fine thing to say if it's an accurate representation of what those messages are.
Rags here, talking about how, we don't really have to worry about racism.
Black Lives Matter is... Gosh, what's the most charitable way to describe Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter is a bully organization of frustrated, spoiled millennials and people looking for an anger outlet. It's a borderline terrorist organization that often spews hateful rhetoric and inspires murder on police officers. I have absolutely no love for Black Lives Matter. They are an awful organization. I have no time and no patience for groups of individuals who want to blame all the problems that they think they may or may not be facing on some boogeyman called white supremacy or systematic racism, because they think it's much easier to blame something else for your problems instead of maybe the fact that, well, blacks in this country commit an insanely high amount of crime, that 73% of blacks are born out of wedlock. Blacks only graduate from high school at a rate of 69% nationwide. The fact that 93% of black homicide victims are killed by other blacks. The fact that 40% of cop killers are black, despite black males being 6.6% of the United States population. But I suppose it's much easier to blame systematic racism, or the police, or white supremacy, or just some nebulous boogeyman out there in the distance floating around, invisible yet ever-present, instead of addressing the problems that face your own community.
At first, they were just dreams, but now I feel like I'm actually changing. Why would I be having visions that I'm a diverse woman?
Because you're a fat racist piece of shit?
So yeah, he is complaining about the voice being pitched. He's such a Rags fanboy, honestly, complaining about the voice being pitched up. It's ridiculous. So essentially I recorded a reaction to his video and I had technical issues with it, and because when I was originally editing it, it was a long video and I was trying to accelerate it, so I sped up parts of it, or I sped up like the whole thing, but like because there was technical issues I never got finished, and I just ended up scripting a response anyway. But elements of what I had edited together ended up in the final video, and that was sped up. It's that easy.
And the bigotry and the transphobia stuff, you're always fucking crying wolf on it. I bet a lot of those supposed racist messages aren't actually racist. And I'm not excusing the ones that are, of course. I'm just saying that I think a lot of the ones that are called racist are not actually racist. Which is a fine thing to say if it's an accurate representation of what those messages are. But maybe this is where I have to throw it in. Don't be racist, everyone, because being racist is bad. You should treat everyone as individuals, not as representatives of their race. You should have an egalitarian racial mindset. You shouldn't see.
LOL, this is delicious irony. Robert is going to reveal he believes in the exact opposite during his debate with Eric July. I am? I don't remember that at all. Okay.
Color. You should treat everyone by the merits of their actions and their character, and not by their skin color. Or is being colorblind the new racist? I can't remember.
I mean, I could make an argument that he's being kind of fucking racist right here, being like, oh yeah, guys, don't be racist. Oh wait, is that racist to not be racist? Yeah.
The rules they're shifty.
The whole montage of content creators disavowing racist messages is an odd thing to include because, dare I say, it causes Robert to debunk himself. Side note, why is the intro of this video a third of the length of the entire video? And why is it so disjointed? Come on, man, this is why I script my videos. Oh shit, he later says that this video is scripted.
I have to give Rags some credit, though.
Yes. Congratulations. I don't edit exactly how you want me to, and that might offend you. But deal with it?
He got me writing scripts again, and I forgot how much I missed it.
Well, this is awkward. Alright, so remember when I said this? I know I'm jumping ahead a bit, but I would like to point out, Rags was not responding to whether or not Organized Chaos liked Obi-Wan. He was responding to his terrible reasoning for liking Obi-Wan and terrible arguments for other things that we will get into momentarily. Well, that chicken has come home to roost because Robert starts the video proper by immediately strawmanning Rags by saying that Rags is making fun of him for liking Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is where the fun begins.
If you wish to...
You've already played clips of him doing that, bro. That rooster has come home. Whatever the fucking expression is. You've already shown that, bro.
Watch the full 2-hour video of Rags mocking me and anyone who dare like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'll link it below.
This is either a purposeful misrepresentation of Rags' point or a clear lack of understanding as to what Rags was saying. Rags explains that his reasoning for liking Obi-Wan Kenobi is weak, and that his points later in the video are weak as well. But
hold on. Let's see if we can find this real fast. Okay. So we're about 24 minutes in.
Do the shot.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They didn't have to show that. But you have to remember that the people who like Star Wars, like you, are idiots. They're very, very stupid. And so you have to explain everything to them and constantly remind them of everything because they don't remember things. Because they're unable to look at things objectively. Because they don't remember basic things like cause and effect. Because they buy Black Widow and exclusive promotional popcorn buckets.
To reveal it.
The people who like this show are the people who buy the Black Widow exclusive promotional popcorn buckets. That sums it up right there.
Next, Robert states that in order to...
It's almost like he's just insulting people who like the show. But you said that's not what he's doing. That's interesting. It's interesting how you managed to debunk yourself in your own video. Good fun.
As to what Rags was saying. Rags explains that his reasoning for liking Obi-Wan Kenobi is weak, and that his points later in the video are weak as well. But Rags only makes fun of Robert when his reasoning for liking Obi-Wan is poor.
What did they get wrong that you have seen through?
Like, they will complain about how it breaks canon, and...
Absolutely. It easily breaks canon.
And in the end...
Why, Rags? Why does it break canon? Wait. I make the slightest obvious statement that, like, pretty much everybody fucking knows. It's like, why? Why does the Electoral College reward low population states? Why? But fucking Rags says Obi-Wan Kenobi breaks Star Wars canon. And he know why to that. Just like, oh yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. It's an interesting double standard you got, Alastor, going on.
The little bit of canon that probably violates, because all stuff placed in the middle of the timeline is going to have little canon violations.
No! You've already ceded. You've already lost. You have already admitted defeat before the battle is fought. You have already said your Disneyfied consumer mind with your fucking Black Widow exclusive promotional popcorn bucket. You fucking consumer, you've already been conditioned to say, there's already going to be canon breaks. They're already going to break continuity. They're already...
You know, I don't think that was a good argument on my part. I will give him that. But I think saying breaking canon's actually not a good way to say it. They will add to canon for sure, because I don't think it actually breaks canon, but it does... it definitely adds to canon because it has to. Every new entry will have to add to canon, just as is.
Gonna screw up the story. Whatever, it's fine, because you have let your standards slip so low that you're just...
How does it screw up the story, though? Explain that. How does what happened in Obi-Wan Kenobi affect the other stories in the Star Wars universe?
Willing to say before it even begins, it's just a given. It's just a given. It's just a given. It's just gonna happen. Guys, it's just gonna happen. Just let it happen. It's fine. Whatever. Consume, consume, consume. Clap for product. I saw Darth Vader, I saw Stormtroopers, and I clapped.
Notice I didn't say that Rags never made fun of Robert for liking Obi-Wan. A straw man doesn't have to be untrue, it just has to be way easier to defeat than the actual argument. Next is Robert partaking in proper whataboutism. Rags makes fun of the figures in Robert's background, saying that they're very consumer-esque. But instead of addressing it, Robert deflects and basically says, well, Nerdrotic has a bunch of figures in his background.
What do we have? We have Grogu, we have Baby.
Well, I mean, we can break that down, but so fun fact. My original point about whataboutism isn't, it's a form of argumentation. It's not the best form of argumentation, I'll give you that. But my offense to them using whataboutism wasn't the whataboutism itself. It was that they were using whataboutism to defend racism. I know it's a little nuanced point. It might be tough to miss.
Baby Yoda and Darth Vader, of course. We have a what looks to be a Black Widow. Is that like a popcorn bucket from the movie theater? That's incredible. This is just a random eBay listing for it. That's how I found it. That's incredible. That's unbelievable. Jesus Christ, it's like the most consumer thing you could get is as a backdrop for your YouTube video, a Disney Marvel Studios, but it's got Taskmaster on it. What an incredible villain that was. What a wonderfully written film. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's hilarious. I think that's hilarious. It's a promotional popcorn bucket right behind the BB-8. At least we got Wally. That's cool. That's all right. Yeah, his Boba Fett shirt. Posture's terrible.
All stuff I decide to leave visible rather than clean up every time I shoot. He calls me a consumer, despite the fact that one of the YouTubers he's defending easily has over $1,000 of action figures for his background.
The problem here is that...
So, Nerdrotic, using that same example, is a consumer. Just saying.
Rags is not talking about...
True, Lucifer, I am completely owned now. I am destroyed.
Nerdrotic, he's talking about you. This is what I mean by being accused of something and...
Yeah, that's the problem is he's accusing me of something of that one of his buddies that he's defending does the exact same. Interesting, right? Why it's bad if I do it, but if Nerdrotic does it, it's fine. It's interesting, right?
Deflecting it. Pointing out hypocrisy only works if you're on the offense, not on defense. And with that, Robert sprinkles on top that Nerdrotic is a racist, sexist, and homophobe.
On offense, not on defense. Well, considering Rags was the first one to come after me, I would put me on defense.
That YouTuber is
I mean, I don't understand that logic why it only works one way, but if you want to break it down, then I would be on defense. Just saying.
Blatant racist, sexist, and homophobe, and all those other buzzwords, I'm sure.
Funnily enough, Rags himself is openly bisexual.
Okay, so fun fact. He cuts out the audio where I start going over the tweets that are obviously racist. Just saying.
Sexual, and Nerdrotic has been on EFAP with Rags at least 8 times.
Oh, guys, Rags is bisexual. And because Nerdrotic occasionally streams with Rags. That means these guys can't be bigots at all. Ignore that wildly racist clip of Rags from a few minutes ago. Doesn't matter. Doesn't count, guys. Doesn't count. Because he's bisexual. Boom. Yeah, and Jacob. Jacob is the Pope now, too. Jacob, I didn't know you were the Pope. That's awesome. That's awesome news, man. I didn't know that.
Also, he's been on with Fringy, who's not white. He's green.
Oh, Fringy's a green guy. Okay, cool. Well, I'm just debunked, guys. I'm destroyed. Like said, this video destroys me. Let's see. We'll give this a couple more minutes. I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, part of me is kind of interested to dive further into it, but I don't want to be here all night. We'll see. Maybe I'll resume this at another point, because this is fascinating. It's honestly pretty fucking bad. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, have I made bad arguments? Sure. But honestly, like, even if I've made bad arguments, those arguments are backed up by facts that I'm more than happy to bring out and show you at this point.
And finally, Nerdrotic has done a live stream with Lauren Chen, who is not only a woman, but part...
Oh, I love it. Oh, oh my God. Okay. So who's up on recent news? Guys, Lauren Chen was a Russian asset. Not only that, she knew she was a Russian asset. You haven't heard anything from her recently? Because she's giving information to the State Department almost undoubtedly. Saying that, oh, guys, Lauren Chen's on Friday Night Tights. They can't be racist. Part of Russia's goal was essentially to push racist rhetoric. I just, you couldn't have picked a worse example, my dude. My God, holy shit, Lauren goddamn Chen. All right.
Asian. All of this was easily debunkable with a search on YouTube. Robert then...
Oh, dude, I love it. I love it. It's... Alastor, we should talk sometime. That's all I have to say at this point, because... Oh. You know what, guys? I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, because that's a great place to wrap it up. Just him using Lauren Chen to try to... Yeah, he not only is it he has black friends argument, so he can't be racist, but one of his examples is a fucking Russian agent. Just mind-blowingly bad. And yeah, of course, there's no way he could have known it was a Russian agent back then. But back then, I had watched a Lauren Chen video, and I called her out for being full of shit. And then it comes out, she's full of shit. It's almost like I can watch this stuff and see what's actually going on, and you can't, either through ignorance or just forceful will. I don't know what it is, Alastor, but I just find that mind blowing. It's like I almost want to just drop my mic, fucking Lauren Chen, bro. You couldn't have used a worse fucking example.
Lauren Chen actually did a video for Blaze talking about a different interview that Amanda Stenberg did, where she talked a lot about white people and white supremacy as well.
You probably hadn't heard of Lauren Chen.
Two people working for Putin's favorite media outlet in Moscow, RT, funneled around $10 million to a Tennessee-based company, exactly matching the description of Tenet Media.
A couple months ago, Lauren Chen actually did a video for Blaze.
It was founded by right-wing YouTuber Lauren Chen and her husband Liam Donovan.
She streamed with Sargon of Dumname not long ago. She's worked with PragerU, making a video for them about feminism bad. And I know this one's gonna shock you, but she's also streamed with Nerdrotic and friends a whole bunch.
In a bombshell indictment, U.S. prosecutors allege a media company linked to conservative influencers who regularly reach millions, including Benny Johnson, was secretly funded by Russian state media employees.
And a little busy this week in the old news section of the internet.
Well, no shit.
Whose goal was to amplify U.S. domestic division and spread Russian propaganda.
It's all linked, Jeremy. It's all the same thing. There's like this through line.
The company then distributed the money to its stable of content creators. The influencers on Tenet's book include Tim Pool, Lauren Southern, Dave Rubin, and Benny Johnson.
Eli, like, obviously following Gary and Drinker.
Back when Eric was making his name, he was also pushed heavily by John F. Trent, who's now signal boosting Delarose and Fandom Pulse, and who streamed with Nerdrotic, who himself, streamed with Eric and Ryan and Garrett and Benny and Gavin and climate change denier, Russia simp, Republican presidential hopeful Vivek Ramaswamy.
It's all linked, Jeremy. It's all the same thing. There's like this through line.
Hate speech is not allowed on YouTube.
You know, Lucasfilm, you know, the retarded Avengers assemble over there, backing each other up.
They have a memorial to George Floyd. They got a Derek Chauvin George Floyd memorial.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin found guilty on all 3 charges in the death of George Floyd nearly a year ago.
Didn't they say that you were like encouraging bigotry?
Yeah.
Because of your.
Which, you know,
bigotry.
I mean, yeah.
You incel, QAnon, 4chan, Snyder Cut motherfuckers.
It's clobbering time.
Great news.
But guys, like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.